Hey folks, it's Revan here. Hope you're all doing well. Today is the 31st of December 2021, New Year's Eve, and we are approaching New Year's Day. I can't believe it. 2022 is just around the corner, isn't it? So, my friends, please stay safe, take care. Whatever you're doing for the New Year's celebrations, please have a good one. Relax with family and enjoy yourself with family and friends. Even if you're doing it at home, just take it easy. Don't get too drunk or wasted. Make sure you're staying safe from the COVID. Make sure you're staying safe with your family and friends. And at least try and enjoy the festivities as best you can, if you can. I know times are rough, but we're here for each other. So, today's video is all about stat shaming. Well, I knew this day would come, but I will have to say that I wasn't feeling too proud about this, but I have to say that stat shaming is very much frowned upon in World of Warships, and honestly it's frowned upon in most games as well. But I'll say this very vocally: me as a streamer and as a person and individual, I do not believe in stat shaming people. However, I do believe on improving people's win rates. I do believe in improving their gameplay. I'm also believe on improving themselves as a player, because there's no player out there that is awful. Each player out there just needs to learn their own strengths and weaknesses and turn that to be a positive vibe out of it. Now, the question is, what is stat shaming? My friends, stat shaming in terms of the wording, the context and everything, I have to say the best way I can compare it was my prehistoric gameplay that I did for World of Warcraft for 10 years. So when I first played World of Warcraft, who remembers back in the days about gear checking, about your characters, making sure that you got the enchants for your characters, your gems, making sure that your character is spec correctly with the right talents. What kind of achievements have you done in terms of dungeons, PvP, raids, things like that? Well, my friends, that is an example of what stat shaming is actually. Stat shaming is basically people like you and me who are players on the game get viewed by other people out there, and they'll be wondering like, okay, it's like, why this guy is, so well geared, and this other person is just like, not geared, but is doing great achievements and stuff like that. There's a lot of comparison, and it's actually a good and a bad thing. In terms of my experience, when I was a guild leader, me and my officers had a tendency to just have a look on, based on the gear requirements, and then compare it with the experience of what has been done in the game. So if they haven't done certain raids, for example, like back in the days of Wrath of Lich King, we were checking about like what kind of raids have they done so far, like Naxxramas, Uldar, Trial of the Crusader, ICC, and see what difficulty they've done it, in normal, heroic, or beyond. Now, honestly, the funny thing about it was that we were trying to figure out understanding like what makes them a good player. And basically it comes down to, have they done the time? Have they done the research on the character? Have they been, talking to other people, getting to know them, get the gears up to scratch, if you will, things like that, And there's nothing wrong with trial and error. And basically clans out there at the time were just basically trying them out and then say like, hey, look, you're a good fit, you're welcome to join us. And honestly, that's how guilds expand and progress. Sometimes it's just basically friends beyond friends, and basically it's like, yeah, you could come in, no worries. And then sometimes they're not that good in gear, sometimes they are. So honestly, it's a bit of a catch-22. In terms of World of Warships though, statistically speaking, stat shaming is basically players looking at other players and looking what kind of win rates and scores and achievements and how good they are in terms of general gameplay with all their ships. And honestly, most recently on my stream, there was one person that came to my stream, was pretty damn vocal, and he basically said that there was some wording that he used on there that made me feel insulted. But at the same time, as a streamer and content creator, and as a person who is working hard to become a community contributor, I actually frowned at the comment this person made. But at the same time, I respected it, because there are two sides of every coin. There are players out there who are doing quite well in terms of the game, and they have great scores, and they are suffering because the general player base, for some other reason, is just that they're not willing to work together, or they have a tendency to just rush in and die. It's just like, it frustrates me. It frustrates you. It frustrates everyone, But there are people out there with the low scores who are performing well, and they're not getting the win rates they deserve. And I'll say this very vocally about this message that was shared. So basically, one viewer told me this on my stream most recently, and he reckoned that he thinks that people under the win rate of 45% should stay in co-op mode, and that's just him, right? So honestly, that comment was pretty damn right insulting, because there are players like me and others out there are falling in between the average bracket that I did check out what the average was for World of Warships is between 40 to 50%. If you are in that category of 40 to 50% in terms of win rate, you're doing good. Okay? You're doing good, but you definitely could have done better, obviously. The trouble is, though, that there's not many people above 50% win rate, and there should be, because there's a lot of good people out there, like you and me, are more than well deserving to get that. And honestly, I just think that World of Warships should scrap that thing altogether, because it is actually pretty much like, it gives a bit of depression on players. But at the same time, that clans or guilds on World of Warships per se shouldn't be really focused on stats on the warships. They should be focused on how long they have played with that player, getting to know them, and see how well they have performed. And if that person, even if, say for example, a 33% win rate player can actually do a lot of citadels, a lot of damage, and is actually doing great battles all around, and is actually doing the damage as required, then that's something great about that person. But at the same time, they can do the job, just equivalent to somebody in the high 50s. If you have someone in the 50% considered unicum, and when I say unicum is basically players like elitist jerks, in a good way of saying, because you are doing great job of performing so well in the game, because you're doing great. There's something about you, you're doing well. And I have to encourage the people who are doing well should be sharing that knowledge with everyone out there and say, well, this is what I learned. So as a person who falls in the category between 40 to 50% in World of Warships in the game average, I can tell you this. I have learnt tirelessly day and night, week by week, month by month, year by year, by learning how to perform better on my warships on different reasons. Positioning, timing, understanding where to hit the targets, and how to kite, how to dodge, how to make the moves when they need to, and feel the player base. Feel the battlefield. As in, like, let the force flow through you. Hey, if you're a Star Wars fan like me, you know what I'm talking about. But honestly, I sat down there and I just said to myself, it is important for you to take a step back and understand your statistics a little bit for yourself. There's no shame of admitting that you need to improve. I sure as hell know that for a fact, that in co-op battles, if you're doing well in terms of statistics for co-op battles, that's great. I'll tell you this much though, how the win rate is calculated. The win rate is very detailed. So it comes down to a lot of factors. 1, how many battles have you played? 2, how many ships you got in your port? And 3, how many times have you played those warships and actually done victories and defeats? So when you start comparing that, then you start getting an average. You know, when we have, like in mathematics, that they do like a mean, a deviation, radius, circumference, things like that, you know, back in all those days. Well, statistics come to play behind this. Should win rates be available in World of Warships? It's argued. In one hand, it's good, beneficial getting to know the player and understanding their strengths and weaknesses. On the other hand, it comes down to, you know, for clan recruitment reasons or getting to know them. But the statistics for the win rate for the game players should not be frowned upon on anybody. Everyone has room for improvement. Even the top players will tell you that. Basically, the top players will tell you that it doesn't come overnight that I'll be the top dog doing the job. And World of Tanks, they call themselves Top Gun. Now, in World of Warships, well, I'll say this much. If you are the top dog, Top Gun, the master of World of Warships, and you know how you play the gameplay, well, honestly, you're doing something right, but where's that knowledge? We need to share it with people and teach people how to do better. And that is what I'm trying to do, to try and teach you how to do better in your gameplay. Honestly, when I was approached on my stream, and that guy said this comment on my stream, I was livid. I was upset at the end of the stream. I was angry. I was absolutely bloody well pissed. Because you don't say that to anybody at all. Content creator, friend, family, or whatever. But it may be the truth, but the truth may hurt and it will set you free. But you should not go out there and say that to anybody and tell them that they should be going to co-op. Honestly, my view on anyone with a win rate under 40% should work on something that needs to be identified on the ships they're not doing so well on and improve it. On the statistics on the side over here, as you can see, I was scrolling down a little bit, that shows a list of ships that you played and actually shows you the percentages. If you got low percentages beneath 40%, check them out, the reasons why, and work on them. It may be simple reasons, like for example, you may have had, a lot of groups that don't really care about teamwork or don't really care about working together. They don't really care about you. They care about themselves. There might be scenarios where you are at fault, and it's okay to admit if you are at fault, but learn from your mistakes. Turn it to your own strengths, for Christ's sake, and don't point fingers at people. Honestly, when I sit down there and look at my own stats, I sit down and go like, wow man, I could have done better in those ships. What am I doing wrong? But when I think about it, I said to myself, you know what? is because of these reasons, and I want to turn it into a better outcome. Now, honestly, stat shaming is not good. No, it's not. I'm not afraid to show you my stats. In fact, the person who came to my stream and said, that comment on my stream, I fall in that category, and I was absolutely livid. And I have every right to be. I have every so right to be. Because even though, on average, I have some good battles and bad battles, good damage, bad damage, survived most of the time, or died at least one week, everyone has at least one good week or bad, awful week. And same comes down to months, days, or whatever. But the thing is that when this guy was thinking about quitting the game, basically told me a lot of things about it, and he said it on my stream. And actually, when I saw it on my stream, I actually sat down there and paused a little bit in the middle of a clan battle. Even though I was in deep thought, I was reading it for a good couple minutes, and I just said to myself, why are you... And then I did not complete the sentence in the back of my head, because at the back of my mind, I had to act professional, and I knew that I did not want to blow up on my stream at that point, but I could have. But the reason I did not is because that even though some of it was true, some of it that is, but the wording could have been better. Now, I do feel for people who are performing quite well and not performing so well, and they feel mixed and perplexed about the whole aspect of the game in win rate. Stat shaming should never be shown on the stream, should never be shown to anybody. However, if there is something about it that we can learn from it, is to teach each other and become better at what we're doing. There are people out there, like myself and others, are working tirelessly, making videos and content on how to improve your gameplay. Please do not shoot the messenger. But I don't like stat shaming anybody. I sure as hell don't. I don't welcome it. If I see anyone that I know is stat shaming people, all I can say is that I'm disappointed. Because if I was in Star Wars The Republic or World of Warcraft and talking about statistics and stuff like that for gear checks and things like that a few years ago, I would have not been streaming it at all, because I think it's wrong to humiliate people on the stream. But honestly, when I saw comments like this, for example, or comments about wargaming in terms of that they have done a bad job at something, if you are sharing that feedback on my stream, shouldn't you be sharing that feedback to Wargaming directly? Now, Wargaming may not like what you say, but at least you tell them. It's alright for you to, tell you your thoughts and your own opinions on me, but, honestly, I felt hurt, because in the back of my mind, I was like, yeah, I know how you feel, mate, but what can I do to help you? And the only way I can help you is basically teaching players, the viewers, and anyone out there who are willing to learn from their mistakes, work collaboratively as a team, and help improve the gameplay. I will admit, I was not the best player on the warships I played a few years ago, and nowadays I'm doing better. And all because I'm learning from different streamers, all because I'm learning from different content creators, all because I'm learning from different people I have met over the years. And if it weren't for them, I wouldn't have gotten to where I am now. And I'm still improving. I'm still taking the time to make that effort. I am still working hard, tirelessly, to try and help you. I'm all about coaching people and making things better for them. But honestly, folks, I mean, like, take it as you will. But stat shaming is definitely not welcomed whatsoever. All I can say is that my response to that comment is this: don't listen to people like that. You definitely know what you can do, and you're damn right better than those scores right there. If you know that you're in the bracket between 40 to 50%, you're doing something good, but definitely look at ways to how to improve your gameplay. Definitely go check out on the sidebar on the statistics of the list of ships you got, and then see what you can do to improve on it. If it's a simple misunderstanding on the ships, the way you play, the gameplay style you're doing it, simple things like, I thought I had hydro, no I don't, and smoke or whatever, the reason. But as long as you start to admit that there is something that needs to be improved on, that is a step in the right direction. Do not be ashamed. Please do not be ashamed of learning, because at the end of the day, it's all about learning, and life is a learning experience. I kid you not. If people were not willing to live and learn how to do things around the world, it could be dull and boring, maybe. But at the same time, I like to see you happy. Alright? And, honestly, these scores on the servers I played on, honestly, I'm no genius. I kid you not. I don't like bragging about it, but I'm not ashamed of saying that I'm learning. Okay? There's no shame in admitting that to you. But if there's a way to improve my skills, I'm willing to talk to you. I'm willing to share that knowledge with you. I'm willing to encourage the people who are doing so well to share that knowledge with the player base. And even if you do a short 20-minute, 30-minute tutorial on speccing your commanders, on speccing on your ships, with your modules and things like that, showing the basics of how you play the gameplay and teaching people how to be better at what they do, is better than nothing at all, because it would help encourage the player base to stop doing the simple mistakes. Honestly, I can't tell you any more than that. But you see, as it is an old saying, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it drink. You can do all these things in terms of video recordings, streaming, whatever. If people are not willing to listen, it's not your fault. You only can do so much. Yes, I do understand the frustration. Yes, I do understand where you're going with this whole thing. But at the end of the day, we're just people trying to have fun on the game we love and enjoy. And honestly, my friends, please don't think negatively. If you need to take a break from the game because of if you had a bad time with a few matches, do it. Take a break. Go have a Valium or have a drink. Go watch the movies. Go play cricket. Go socialize with your friends online or even in person. Go for a walk with your dog. Go out away from the game for a while and actually take a break. Feel refreshed. Revitalize. I stress not that, this is a game to have fun. If you're not having fun, then you're not winning. Because if you are having fun, despite of the wins and losses, you are winning, you are a champion at it, and you're doing something right. I don't know about you folks, but I love having a good time with my friends. How about you? Until then, my friends, please Enjoy yourselves, the festivities into the new year, and I wish you well in 2022. Please stay safe, take care, have a great time with family and friends. I know that it's going to be an interesting time next year. Until then, see you on the next stream. Have a good one.